making our way around by stop number 3 next up, which is around near Katoomba RSL Club. Around the corner here you'll see it on our left hand side is the street art walk around here. Back in 2013, artists got together, they created the open air art gallery in there to our left. Originally done for the Lady Luck Festival. That was a festival we used to hold in town that was 1950s themed festival. Festival's long gone these days, but street art walk remains popular. Stop number 3 just here for Katoomba RSL Club. And we'll head out around stop number 4, which is out at Carrington Park. Very popular family picnic area, Carrington Park. Children's playground in the park. The park has a great view over the eastern side of the valley. The Carrington name, well, back in the 1880s, that's really when the upper parts of the mountains, Katoomba in particular, became popular for sightseeing attractions. Prior to that time, it was a mining associated area. Lord Carrington was the governor of the New South Wales colony in the 1880s. Lord and Lady Carrington, they were regular visitors to the area. Very popular with the people. So Carrington Park there to our right. As we round the corner, looking over the Katoomba Pass, area of the Jamison Valley here. Looking over to the eastern border, the Jamison Valley over there, the eastern border, is the King's Tableland over on the Lapworth Falls side of the valley. Number 5. Next up is the Honeymoon Lookout. The Honeymoon walk around the Lookout Point. The Honeymoon Lookout. Honeymoon, Honeymoon Lookout, Honeymoon Walk, Honeymoon Bridge. Quite commonly used around the area. From the 1880s through to the 1960s, the Blue Mountains was the honeymoon capital of Australia. Popular destination for newlywed couples on their honeymoons back in that time. In the 1960s they developed the Gold Coast in Queensland that then became popular. So we'll make our way around to stop number 6. Next up for Echo Point. Three Sisters Rock Formation at Echo Point. Benai, Wimmera and Gunnydew, that's the 3 girls' names. They're standing on the edge of the valley down in front of us. They're 3 sisters from the local Katoomba First Nations people. They're waiting on their father, Taiwan, the magic man, to return from the valley with his magic phone and turn them back into real girls again. That's how the stories go. Their father, Taiwan, the magic man, he's promised them that he will return and reverse the spell he put on them. He turned them to stone temporarily to prevent them from being kidnapped, taken as stolen brides by enemy warriors. So this is stop number 6 just here for Echo Point. Stop number 7, the next stop is already closed. The Scenic World really finished an hour ago. So we'll just make our way down to the South Valley area of Katoomba. This is stop number 8 here at the top of Katoomba Falls. Biggest of the waterfalls in Katoomba Cascades. Okay, so we'll just make our way around over the top of this part of Katoomba Cascades. It's the top of Katoomba Falls and the parkland to our left. Side of the waterfall here, the Reeds Plateau area. Stop number 9 just here. checking Scenic World for anybody left in there. Scenic World is closed up there. Okay, so we'll make our way out around the western clifftop area of the Jamison Valley out here. So through the trees to our left, the Three Sisters rock formation, Veronica Point through there. Menai, Wimmera and Gunnydew. Standing on the edge of the valley, waiting on their father Taiwan, the magic man, to return from the valley with his magic bone and turn them back into real girls again. Out of the valley in front of us, it's a rather large rocky mountain outcrop that's Mount Solitary, standing alone or standing independently of the main body of the mountains that we're driving on. Mount Solitary. As we round the bend here to our left, there's a hill down in the valley with another rock formation perched on top in there. And that rock formation's known as the ruined castle. It just resembles a castle crumbling away or falling down in there. Over to our left, the headland running to the south, that's Narrow Neck. Jamison Valley to our left, totally uninhabited. Nobody lives in the Jamison Valley. Narrow Neck over there running to the south, the headland dividing the Jamison Valley on this side from the Megalong Valley over on the western side. A landslide into our left. In 1931 was when the dog-face rock formation collapsed into the valley that created the landslide. Stop number 11, just here, right on the start of Narrow Neck. Landslide to our left. Running off to the south there. And now the Megalong Valley to our left. But unlike the Jamison Valley, people live in the Megalong Valley. Farms in the valley, cattle grazing, sheep farming. Exposed rock cliff faces on Narrow Neck to our left. Megalong is the area beneath rock, the valley lying beneath the exposed rock cliff faces around the top. to the southwest there, looking over the Megalong Valley, looking over to the Blue Mountains again behind the valley, and behind the Blue Mountains is the Great Dividing Range. So two separate mountain ranges over there behind the valley. Exposed rockwood faces to our left. Plateaus, the ridge tops, and the valleys are canyons. They're not open-ended valleys, no valley that goes all the way through the mountains. Houses out on the cliff top area, the more fire resistant materials these houses are built out of, and the old timber houses that they've replaced. Some of the natural bushland there to our left. Small mountain devil type shrubs, ferns, lemon, tea tree, wattle, banksia type plants like the bulbrush. Over the top is the gum trees, the eucalypt trees, all part of the eucalypt family of trees, the gum trees. Eucalyptus vapour from the trees, it helps to create that intense blue colour in the air when you look into the distance around the mountains, the Blue Mountains, because of that vapour, eucalyptus vapour. Town of Katoomba perched on the hill to our left. The old power station attached to the back of the Carrington Hotel, and there's the chimney. The old brick chimney rising from the power station building. known as South Katoomba these days. But it was the mining village of Katoomba originally. Shale and coal mining that started off back in the early 1870s down in the old shale and coal mines below where Scenic World is today. Scenic World's just to our right, they've done a loop around. Shale that they mined. Shale was a vital commodity, particularly in the days before electricity. They used to extract shale oil from the shale rock. The shale is the flaky, oily rock near a seam of coal. The shale oil was the oil that lubricated the wheels of machinery back in the day. The shale oil was also processed into kerosene for lighting lamps and heating. But it was an extremely difficult area to mine, this area. They abandoned the mining back in 1948. It was too expensive to mine this area. There was easier areas to mine just a little bit further to the west along the mountains. So we'll head back over the top of Katoomba Cascades here to our left, the water flowing over the rocks. And the Katoomba and Darug people's name for that, the water flowing over the rocks, is Katoomba. Katoomba, the old mining village. They were Welsh miners. Katoomba was just how they pronounced the word Katoomba. Katoomba is the English pronunciation. Stop number 15 coming up just here. Stop number 16 coming up. The art galleries are closed up now, the Lost Bear Gallery and Gallery 96. Park there to our left. There's Kingsford Smith Park a little bit further up the road. They were early Australian aviators, Leura Cascades and Sir Charles Kingsford Smith. 1930s was when the parks were created. The early Australian aviators were the heroes of the time. have been parks that Paul Simonson that did the Everglades Gardens over in Leura, he would have had a lot of input into the creation of the parks back in that time. Created public parks as well as private gardens for people. That's Carrington Park to our right, but nice view looking over the Katoomba Pass there to our right. Katoomba, of course, that name, our Welsh name for Katoomba. Water flowing over the rocks. We'll make our way down to stop number 18 in here. Top of Leura Cascades, beautiful set of waterfalls. Leura Cascades. So stop number 18. Up just here. So you are going to head across the road to our right. Just make your way around that closed gate. That's just to stop cars getting in. So across the road. Okay, because we are partly down in the valley here, this is all natural bushland around us in here, all native trees and plants. The sclerophyll vegetation, it's known as, sclerophyll is a fancy word for very hardy, coarse leaf type of plant that thrives in hot and cold weather. Where we're heading to though, up the top of the hill in front of us, we'll pop up into the south end of Leura a bit. Leura is known as the Garden Village. We hold the Springtime Garden Festival in Leura. That runs for 2 weeks. There's about 25 to 30 gardens that are open to the public for that. Normally they would be private gardens, most of them. But it's a fundraising event. All the money that gets raised from that goes to charity. The first of the big gardens in Leura, the start of the garden village name really goes back to 1930. Back in 1930, a very wealthy Belgian industrialist, Henry Vanderveld was his name, he purchased around about 12.5 acres of a disused dairy farm on the clifftop land about a kilometre to the south of Leura village, and he named his property Everglades. He retired to Leura. The fellow that created the gardens and the grounds around the property of Everglades for Henry Vanderbilt was Paul Sorensen. He was a young Danish horticulturist and landscaper back in 1930, taught by the very best teachers in Europe before he immigrated to Australia. He changed the style of gardening all around Australia, but he went on to create many other private gardens for people as well as public parks. You notice the great abundance of pine trees. The pine trees are a very popular choice of tree to replace the gum trees close by to the houses. We love the gum trees, but out in the bush, not near your house. The root system on the gum trees is very shallow. We don't have a great depth of topsoil in a lot of places. In the mountains, we're mainly on rock. The gum trees, they will blow over easily in the strong winds that we get. They fall over after heavy rain when the ground softens up. Pine trees have a taproot system. People introduced pine trees from European countries and North America. They're a very stable tree. They adapted easily to conditions in the mountains. So step number 19 here, Cahills Lookout, just across the little park behind us to the left there. So just up in front of us, stop number 20. You can access Elysian rock, Olympian rock and Tarpian rock, all from stop number 20. Great viewing areas out on the clifftop area to our left. The historic property of Leura here, both sides of the road. The main house on the property is to our right there. That's all up for sale. That has an extended history, really going all the way back to the 1850s, that property, and it was mainly in the hands of one family. Good. So the historic property of Leura there really, I suppose, wasn't, well, still is in the hands of the same family that really had it back in the 1850s. Was the Railway and Toy Museum for many years. The Olympian family was the Evatt family, very famous family. Australia's political history. Step number 21 next up is for the Firebird Dell Walk. to our right, out Melbourne Road there. We'll make our way up into Leura Village up here. It's always fascinating to have a browse through Leura Village. The village is made up of quirky little boutique style shops of various businesses. Josser fans that make their own chocolate and ice cream. The Leura Fine would go. A lot of things will be closing up now though. The Leura railway station is at the top end of the shops in front of us. It's only about a 2-minute walk from one end of the village to the other. So the main part of the village there to our left. Stop number 22 coming up just here. In front of us on the corner is Polygon Beauties, or the Treasured Teapot it's also known as. It's an antique teapot museum, as well as being a cafe and restaurant. So stop number 22 just here. By stop number 23 up at Leura railway station. Now if you are after the very next train to Sydney, if you hop out at Leura, you give yourself a little bit more time. Sometimes you pick up a train in Leura that you miss if you stay on the bus and come back to Katoomba. Really the professional quarters of the village along now. Legal firms, accountancy firms, medical practitioners. It's not the businesses that are of interest. It's the houses. They're in really the old Victorian era houses. It's nice to see the old world charm of them preserved. Streets of Katoomba and Leura. They are really post-Federation, early to mid-1900s, during a time when a lot of the earlier Victorian timber buildings were replaced in the main parts of the towns. So Leura railway station here to our left, an elevator down to the platform, or the stairs. Platform number 1 is Sydney, trains on the north side of the station. All good. Step number 23. The historic property of Yalambie there to our left. That dates back to the 1860s as a private residence. That was the coach house for the property, the clothing store there to our left. down to the Great Western Highway down here. This way over the mountains, it goes back to 1813 when three explorers, Flaxman, Lawson and Wentworth, for their names, they came over in the search of a way to build a road over the mountains, Australia's first inland road. Governor Lachlan Macquarie, he sent his surveyor George Evans. He surveyed a way over for a road to be built. Retired Army Captain Engineer William Cox was in charge of around about 30 convicts initially who built what became known as Cox's Road. Opened in 1815. Finished on the western side of the mountains out where they established Australia's first inland town, the town of Bathurst, back in 1816. And that was around about a 16-day trip from Sydney out to Bathurst by horse-drawn coach. It was a minimum of 9 days to even just get into the mountains here by horse-drawn coach. And then in the 1860s, the railway engineer, John Clinton was his name, he engineered the Great Western Railway line. You can see part of that there to our left. Over the mountains, that was an amazing engineering feat. He invented the zigzag system that enabled steam trains to negotiate the steep grades. This was a rock quarry just here producing ballast for the railway line right up until the early part of the 1900s. Katoomba wasn't a town in the 1860s, but you could get on a steam train in the morning and you could be in the mountains the same day. That was a quantum leap forward in travel. It was taking days, if not weeks, by horse-drawn coach. The town of Katoomba didn't come about until the 1880s. 1881 was when the Carrington Hotel opened. The town of Katoomba really grew around the hotel during the 1880s. Into stop number 1, top end of the main street. I will be heading off almost straight away really to do the last run around for the day. Stop number 1 just here.